In this video, we will discuss adding and subtracting decimals. The very first thing and the number one rule when adding and subtracting decimals is to line up the decimals. Okay, no matter how many numbers follow a decimal place, we'll always line up the decimal itself, and we will place placeholder zeros if necessary. Okay, and then we're simply going to add and subtract. For example, we have 1 and 43 hundredths plus 2 and 57 hundredths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this vertically instead of horizontally. This is horizontal. Vertical is that up and down. Okay, so I'm going to write 1 and 43 hundredths, and then I'm going to put that decimal place underneath. The 2 lines up with the 1 in the ones place. 5 lines up with the 4, and 7 lines up with the 3. Now I'm simply going to add down. 3 plus 7 is 10, so I'm going to place a 0, carry the 1. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus that extra 1 is also 10, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 gives me 4. Now my decimal is going to simply fall in the same place where it has been the entire time. So I'm going to drop my decimal down to the bottom, and I end up with 4 as my answer. Just to point out here, I can write it with the 2 decimal place zeros afterwards, but 4 and 0 hundredths is the same number because 0 is essentially a placeholder if it follows the last actual integer. Our next example is 18 and 3/10 minus 9 and 7/10. So again, I'm going to rewrite this vertically. So I'm going to take 18 and 3/10, and I'm going to make sure I line up my decimal place. Okay, 7 goes underneath the 3. That's the first number after the decimal place, and 9 is going to go before the decimal, and we are subtracting. Okay. So we have 3/10 and we're taking away 7/10. Well, there's not enough there to remove all of that, so I'm going to have to borrow from my ones place. Make that 7 ones and this into 13/10. 13 minus 7 gives me 6. 7 is too small to take 9 from, but if I borrow, it's just this tens place here. So 17 minus 9 gives me 8. And again, I'm going to drop my decimal place down, and I get 8 and 6/10. Now let's look at an example when I have a different amount of decimal places in both terms. So here I have 17/8 plus 3 and 47 hundredths. Now both of these terms have 3 different digits, but the decimal place is in a different location. I don't care about the number of digits, I care about where the decimal place is. So I'm going to rewrite this vertically, 17 and 8/10, okay? And then I'm going to place this decimal place directly underneath the other one. 3 goes before the decimal place underneath the 1 spot, and the 4 goes in the 10th place, and 7 goes in the 100th place. Now I don't have a number here after the 8, but I'm trying to line up my decimals. So I have 2 options. One, I can just remember that this is represented by 0 because all decimals are repeating zeros afterwards, right? Because 0 has no immediate value, okay? But I'm not going to rewrite 0 forever and ever and ever. What I am going to do is I'm going to place a 0 here as just a placeholder, okay? To help me remember when I'm adding these up, okay? 0 plus 7 gives me 7. 8 plus 4 gives me 12, so I'm going to write the 2 and carry the 1. I'm going to drop my decimal place down there. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus another 1 is 11. Carry my 1 again, and 1 plus 1 is 2. That gives me my final answer. If you are doing addition and you accidentally shift this, just use some math logic here. If you had accidentally put the 3 underneath the 1 and added up those digits, you would end up with 47 and some change. So that would be significantly higher than 17 plus 3, okay? So kind of use your knowledge of math to double check yourself there. Go give some a shot on your own.